Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're well. I hope you're keeping safe out there. I'm back with another review. This is Hyperjam on the Nintendo Switch. It's a wild fighting game by BitDragon, and we here at SwitchWatch spent hours laughing, hooting and hollering as we competitively beat each other up in this neon-soaked arena brawler. The combat is intense, the colours are vibrant, and the soundtrack is killer. And in between those fights, when you're shouting, my partner thought I was insane. But that's not why you're here. You want to know if this game is worth your hard-earned cash and your time. We've got you covered. This is Hyperjam, and let's get into it. In terms of the story, there's not much of a story in Hyperjam. Honestly, like with most arena brawlers, the appeal is simply in the fighting and not much else. Unfortunately, Hyperjam decides to go this route, which leaves us all wondering, why are we fighting and what kind of world are we on that allows public fights in Miami and Neo Tokyo? And who, of course, are these characters? Because the designs of them are great. I know it's not that important in games like this at times, but this kind of attention to detail really helps flesh it out and give new worlds life and personality. For Hyperjam, it's a little bit sad because just about everything else in the game is pretty stellar. If we've got a little bit more background and character detail, it would have given us more of a reason for everything here. But fear not. Before I get into the gameplay, I want to thank Jason for helping us to put this script together. He's a fantastic writer. If you want to check out more of his stuff, head on over to www.switchwatch.co.uk. In terms of the gameplay then, Hyperjam is an absolute blast, and we here at SwitchWatch had a fantastic time beating each other online, exploring the various things available in the game. It's a unique arena brawler where stackable perks are drafted after each round, which makes every game feel well balanced and fresh. It was amazing how tight our matches were, which either means the balancing in the game is insanely good, or, you know, Jason, James and I are just pretty close in skill level. It controls similarly to a twin-stick shooter, and while some weapons are projectiles, the twin-stick controls did feel a bit weird, particularly with the melee weapons. They do take a little bit of getting used to. Rounds are about surviving though, and there are no multiple lives in each round. You need to dash regularly, block and deflect projectiles when you can, and wisely choose your weapons as they readily become available. Points are distributed based on how much damage you output, kills and surviving, and the winner is established once they reach a certain amount of points and survive for one more round. The ending of the game is particularly unique, as the person who reaches the goal first does not necessarily win the game, giving others a chance. We had a couple of times where games flipped tremendously in the last couple of rounds, and that kept us wanting to play more. Weapons are varied, but it would have been nice if there were a couple more options. With the number available, it was clear what the crowd favourites were, so the ends of rounds did feel all a little bit too similar when two people are trying to hammer one another or dueling rocket launchers are shooting across the screen. One of the coolest things about Hyperjam though are the perks, and there are a lot of them to choose from, and the player that's actually losing the round gets to choose the perk first before going into the next round, which gives them a slight advantage, which is why the balancing works so well. These perks can be anything from health regeneration to higher damage output to elemental charge attacks, and wow, the difference between the first round of the game and the last is almost laughable because of how well these perks stack and completely change your strategy. Which things you choose and how you stack them are a lot of fun, and there is truly no one way that really works best. It's just how you use them. If you do die in a round, you also get to shoot a laser beam at the player still playing, so you can take out some of the players while in the middle of a fight, which is fantastic fun at times and can turn a match around. Hyperjam also contains a lot of different modes. You can play the game in local versus on a single Switch console against friends and or bots. You have the option to play in local wireless and other Switches nearby. You can even play online in either matchmaking or in private matches, and there is even crossplay with PS4, Xbox One and Steam players. But the option to play in teams 2v2 or 3v1 if you want to was fantastic fun, and we really did enjoy that aspect of the game. Just want to make you're aware that you can use Discord here to speak to other players while playing, and that's what we would recommend, or either WhatsApp, which is also what we used. Each mode can be played with bots to fill those empty slots if you choose, and the bot difficulties are pretty great. We tested out easy all the way up to master difficulty, and the challenge grew and grew at a very fast pace, which makes playing alone quite a lot of fun, and for those who want to practice while they are not connected online. There's also a tutorial to just show you the buttons when you start. Hyperjam also has awesome customization options for the game rules. Similar to Super Smash Bros, you can truly create your own experience if you desire. It may mess up with some balancing, but the fact that the options are there are good. The mutators especially make rounds so much funnier, particularly things like slippery grounds and unlimited ammo. Hyperjam does have its minor problems, which we'll get into in the performance, but overall Hyperjam is so much fun to play and controls really well in the process. Hyperjam's soundtrack is absolutely top notch.
Get ready! Fight! Get ready! Fight!
Every single track got us pumped, and the synthwave sound really complemented the aesthetic and feel of this game. It's one of the better soundtracks that we have listened to lately. It's absolutely one that we would listen to if not playing the game, so we need that vinyl ASAP. The sound effects and weapon sounds are all great, and just like the soundtrack, they all fit perfectly. And if Hyperjam did one thing perfectly right, the audio is absolutely top performance here. In terms of visuals then and performance, the game has a neon 80s style. It looks pretty gorgeous, the way the colours pop in the stages, how the particle effects look after you land a strong attack, and how the backgrounds have their own life with things like trains and flying cars moving about. And we really loved sudden death hits and the red grid pattern which starts closing in. It has such a Tron vibe, and it just looks really good. Our one desire though is that there were more stages. There's just not enough presently, and we hope to see more in the future. In regards to the performance, just about everything ran really smooth. As I say, we only ran into issues a couple of times when trying to play 4 players online. In 3 consecutive rounds, the game crashed on one of us, and we'd have to restart that session. It didn't happen again outside of those 3 consecutive times, but it was frustrating when it did happen. Hopefully this was just because the game had not officially launched yet and the servers were not quite ready. Fingers crossed, but do let us know in the comments section down below if you do purchase this game. Hyperjam is priced at $14.99 in the US and £13.49 in the UK. These are very reasonable prices for the package you're getting. Not only are there ways to play and even more ways to customize the experience, but the game has one of the best soundtracks out there and looks really good. You can tell the team at BitDragon put a lot of time and effort into Hyperjam. It really does show for this indie, and if you're a fan of arena brawlers, this is a game that will lend you hours and hours of fun with family and friends alike. Before getting on to our verdict, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so we can let you know when our new reviews go live. Tune in every Sunday and Monday for our best bargains on the Nintendo Switch and to see all those juicy details of the physical games that are releasing on the Nintendo Switch for that week. So in terms of our verdict, Hyperjam is an excellent arena brawler, a game that provides tons of fun for you and your friends and family. The vast amount of customization options will keep things fresh for a pretty long time. Gameplay is frantic, fun, and well balanced. Let us not forget that this has a brilliant soundtrack by the likes of Carpenter Brute, Dance with the Dead, and Meteor. The game just sounds and looks great. Solid experience that we highly recommend as long as you can play with some friends. An 8 out of 10 from us here at SwitchWatch. Again, like to thank Jason for putting this script together and for the team for getting involved playing this one. We hope that you enjoy, and maybe we can see you online at some point in the future. If you did enjoy this video, then please hit that thumbs up and leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of this review, or if you're going to purchase this game and what you think of games like this. And lastly, if you want to read this review, head on over to www.switchwatch.co.uk. I'm going to put another couple of videos up on the screen now, and we'll see you over there. Take care.